So recently I had family members question why I'm doing this venture. And I often laugh and joke about doing entrepreneurship is often something that is misunderstood from the outside. Everybody thinks that you're crazy. But when it's family members and they make you really question exactly what you're doing, it's very difficult and very challenging. So I want to recap what I'm actually doing and why you probably have seen me on the internet. And I'm trying to build a platform to create non-rejectable research papers and grants and make it so it's incredibly fun and interesting to do. There's a serious problem, and it's really serious. If you look at researchers and PhDs around the world, there's extreme rates of depression, anxiety, and just dealing with the challenges that we face. And the reason why it's like that is, I believe, is that there's a lack of feedback often, and the feedback is extremely negative. People that are in research completely understand what I'm doing, and they understand the problem very much so, but the outside world doesn't really see it because they don't understand just how ambiguous the process of doing research actually is and how daunting and scary it actually is. And so I sought out years ago now, it's like almost 10 years ago, that I decided I was going to change this. I was going to build a platform, and this platform would help us get this feedback along the way. And I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to do this all myself with my wife's blessing, sort of blessing. And I'm trying to do this, and it's often very challenging for me. I'm starting to get a little bit more institutional support because I think people see it. So you're starting to see more people on my channel that are very well known, that understand the problem very deeply. But also, universities are starting to take notice. But it doesn't mean that it is still not difficult to do. And I doubt myself every day about what I'm doing. And I think what I'm doing is crazy because I'm spending so much money and effort and time doing this that I honestly don't know what the right answer often is in terms of whether I'm actually supposed to do this or not. And that's why I try to be very real on this, because then you get a sense of what real entrepreneurship, particularly technology entrepreneurship, is really like. Because it's not the glamour stories that everybody says. It's a whole lot of doubt and a whole lot of you thinking that you screwed up all of the time and nothing works. What you're doing is just one little step at a time, and it often barely moves the needle, and nobody believes in you. Everybody has all of these glamour shots of what it actually looks like and that you're getting all this funding. And it's very easy to get, and you just build something, and all of a sudden you become famous, and everybody calls you Zucks. But that is not the story of almost all of entrepreneurship, almost all of technological entrepreneurship. The only entrepreneurship that doesn't really feel like that so much, but it typically is entrepreneurship that is more easier to get returns very quickly, like lawn mowing and building things that everybody sees that there is a clear return very quickly. But if you do something that has any sort of futuristic feel, it is unbelievably difficult, and it's not what everybody says it is. And so I doubt myself every day. I teach about innovation. I'm a professor of innovation. I study it, and nobody I know in the whole wide world is doing this. I'm the only person that I know that is actually doing this and telling the story of what it actually means to build something. There's a couple of people that are similar in terms of what they're doing, but they often have far more resources at their universities, and their universities kind of get what they're doing. But for me, I have to figure out how to do this alone, and it's often very challenging and daunting. And that's why if you start looking at anybody that's built anything like this, they almost always tell you to have a co-founder because of the challenges, and almost always it falls apart. Almost always the success rate is very low because of all of these doubts and problems and experiences that you go through, and you think that what you're doing is completely insane and you should quit at any time. It's kind of like prospecting and looking for gold and doing that for your whole life, and you really don't understand where the gold actually is. And I study entrepreneurship and innovation, and most of the literature on this, most of the studies on this are absolutely just wrong and invalid. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done this. They just don't tell what the real truth actually is. There's an emerging literature on this now that's starting to tell the truth a little bit more, but almost all of it feels like you are a failure and you doubt all the time, and you're scared all of the time, and often you think that you'd be better off for quitting and moving on to something else. You wouldn't believe the number of times that I've seen this and done this and seen the same story, and they just don't tell what the real story actually is. And that's why I'm trying to tell that story and be as open as possible what it actually means to do this, so everybody sees, everybody understands just how difficult it is to build something. I wish I had money to build a great big thing very quickly, but I don't. So I have to do it one little moment at a time, being scared, thinking of what I'm doing is completely wrong and foolish. And that's the journey of what it means to do this, and the only way that you can actually do this, and I try to tell the truth, is to get people to believe in what you're doing. And the only way that I can get people to believe in what I'm doing is to tell the truth, so they could see and follow along of what it really means to build something from nothing. And man, it is a difficult journey. And especially, I laugh when other people that are distant don't really get it and say, oh, they don't get it. But man, when it's close, when it's somebody, a relative, that really, really pushes, that is very challenging. You know, I wish I could give definitive answers to any of this. And I could say, this is what happens, and it will be easy for you. And I wish I could say, this is when things are gonna be funny, and I'm gonna break even, and all of this will be worth it. But I don't know, and I never will really know. And I just simply have to figure out how to deal with this every day. You know, the truth is, the only way that I know how to deal with this is the same thing of how I learned how to deal with everything else. Just get back up and do it again, and have everybody laugh at you. Everybody think that what you're doing is stupid. And you just keep trying, day in and day out, because you are doing your one thing that matters to you, and nobody will see it for 30 years, 40 years, and they'll say, oh my gosh, wasn't that incredible? But, you know, here's the thing that's even harder, that really plays in your mind day in and day out. It may be 30, 40 years, and everybody say that you're a failure, and what you did was stupid, and you shouldn't have done it. And I don't know what is the right thing and the right path at any given moment. I guess what I'm saying is, if you are doing anything that's similar in the future and you see what I'm going through and you're doubting yourself, just know that you're not the only one. And yes, nothing will be clear. Nothing that you do will seem like it's the right thing that you should be doing at the time. And you just do your best every day with what you have, and that's it. And everybody else that is watching and thinking that you're stupid, they don't know what it is. They've never done it. They don't understand. They are not playing the game. They're completely irrelevant in your decisions, because they simply are not in it. They don't understand. They don't see how difficult every single decision is. And every time you miss the mark, you just simply have to get back up, do it again, keep trying, and disregard as many people as possible that are going to tear you down, and focus on the people. They're going to make sure that you stay positive regardless of what everybody else says about you and what you're doing. Ultimately, you saw something that nobody else saw, and that must mean that there's a nugget of gold there someplace. Just keep doing your thing and ignoring all of the people that are eating popcorn on the sidelines. Take care and have a wonderful day.